Caitlin,
and this is the Watching You Watch podcast.
Anime edition!
So we are with our last episode here of Attack on Titan.
Eek.
Yep, eek is right.
Eek indeed.
We just went through a really interesting stretch of episodes here. If you've been following along with us, we just watched the last 3 episodes of season 1 of Attack on Titan. So if you've been following along, that stretch is it starts with Annie being they're kind of showing what Annie's doing with the military police, and it ends with a big epic battle.
Yep.
Titan on Titan.
Ab versus Abbott.
So, before we get into your recap, Caitlin, this is the last episode. How are you feeling about it all?
Well, I'm pretty sure everyone can tell I'm in better spirits than I was last week.
Yay!
Yay.
I was very upset last week.
And yet, we had some major revelations this episode and
Agreed.
some interesting things. So why don't you recap some of your highlights this episode?
Well, first of all, just want everyone to know I'm right. I was right.
You
I was
were.
right.
You were.
So,
So coy.
yeah. Abbott is totally Annie, which is exactly what I called last week. Starts out, we're all like, oh, Annie's in the military police. She's so cool and strange and quiet. And then Armin is like, hey, Annie, we need your help getting Eren in because we need to get him out, actually. And then John's like, I'll put on a wig and totally be Eren because that's not what I was trying to do the entire show. And then, so Annie's like, why would I help you? And then Armin's like, cause you're kind of a good person, I think, but not really. And so the whole thing was a trap, and they, in the process of smuggling Eren out, Annie reveals who she actually is, of course, because she knows it's a trap.
Titan.
She's the female Titan.
Dun, dun, dun.
And of course, mayhem ensues, and she, kills a bunch of people before Eren even gets the chance to transform. And he, of course, is having performance issues because he can't, because he thinks that, there's probably still good in her or something. But, she killed so many people, and I'm really kind of upset about him, at him for that, because, she took out Petra. So, there should have been no question that he had to kill her, or capture her, whatever, So then he's buried under some rubble that Annie kind of caused, and, it's actually John who comes in and is like, this is not the time for this, bro. Yeah. And he has this massive flashback, and of course he's seeing everybody who died because of this, and it ends with his mom, and then he can transform, and then it's an Ab versus Abbott fight, and the city is in ruins, and we finally get to see some of the fat people die. And
you, of course, are referring to the interior people.
Yes, the interior, because this is all happening in, the inner circle, and they're all, prissy and whatever, and they haven't seen actual trauma.
Yep.
Yeah. And then basically there's a massive battle that ends with Eren kind of going into super mode, and he's actually able to take her down, which we haven't seen that at all. And just as he is able to rip open the nape of the neck and pull her out, she kind of turns into a chrysalis, and they can't get her out of it. And so there's this debate whether or not the whole thing was for nothing because she was their only chance. And yes, they caught her, but they can't get her out.
She's kind of comatose.
Exactly. Yeah. And so then there's this argument with the power players in the inner circle about whether or not the scout regiment had
the jurisdiction
to do what they did, and the whole point was we now have a war to wage on those who are among us, and that's about it.
Yeah, Erwin says it's all worth it because basically we revealed that there are threats.
Yeah.
Within our own walls.
Within the wall, as we saw
sabotaging
at the very end.
Right. So it's really interesting how you go from, the beginning of all this where you have little baby Eren and Armin and Mikasa sitting in their village, and they're talking about how they want to go to the world outside and there are cattle and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You go all the way from that to being wait a second, no, the enemy is within these walls. And it's a really neat sort of arc.
Yeah, but it's also outside the walls. They're everywhere. And I think, we got a little bit caught up with what was going on with the female Titan that we'd, forget that there's still a crap ton of Titans out there that can eat people and spit them up in hairballs.
It's, well, not really hairballs, more like
people balls.
Limb balls.
Yum.
Yum.
What's for dinner?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, let's move into our kind of recap questions here. This episode starts us off with the military police. We get to see a little bit of those new recruits to it who, obviously, they were the top 10 of their own classes, too. And they're all there, too. And you kind of see them. They're a little bit dysfunctional.
Very.
They're very lackadaisical.
That lazy is the word you're looking for.
I guess so.
Their priorities aren't
But then we meet Marlo, who is, he's like, I'm here because I want to change things. What did you think of Marlo?
He's stupid.
That's it.
Well, Marlo is like a Ponzi version of Aaron.
Oh my gosh.
He's like, I'm gonna try and change things. And then we got the chance. He's like, I'm actually a wuss, so never mind.
So there's
He gets the crap beat out of him, though, by his superior
Yeah, well, Aaron got the
officers.
crap beat out of him multiple times, and he didn't complain about
That's
it. So
kinda true. But do you think Marlo's goal of maybe wanting to change the MP into something that is actually good?
admirable, yes.
Well,
yes.
not just admirable, but is it attainable?
Attainable? That depends, because we still haven't actually seen much of the government who's like controlling them,
Yeah.
like at all.
Have we seen the king?
No, we have not seen the king.
We've seen one lord, I think, in the whole
Yeah.
first
Yes.
season.
Yeah.
And it was not a very good depiction of an
No,
authority figure
he was
at
a
all.
super glutton.
Yes.
But other than that, we haven't seen anything else. So whether or not it's attainable, I don't think I can really say. But it's definitely admirable.
Yes. Well, I think it's interesting because it does one of these things that I think Attack on Titan is so good at, which is introducing new characters and situations and whatnot, and then immediately making them so, like, engrossing. And even though, like, we've just come off this very emotional arc with the scouts in the woods and all the stuff going on there, you're immediately sort of pulled into this sort of thing with the MP, and you kind of see things from a different perspective, and there's, like, a human element to it. It's something I really enjoyed about it the first time I watched it. So, yeah, let's move on, though. Obviously, the meat of this episode rests with Annie, and the first thing that really struck me about the whole Annie thing is Armin sort of, like persuades her to come with them because he's like, hey, like, you're a good person, I guess. And then he kind of has, like, wavering opinions about what a good person is. But do you think Annie is a good person? Is she misunderstood? Is there more that meets the eye?
Well, okay, so we got to see her flashback to her dad, I'm assuming. And, he says, like, everyone's gonna hate you, but you gotta do what you gotta do, basically. And we don't know what the heck that means, but I don't think there's any excuse for the crap she pulled. Like, she literally was running with the Titans, like, cut open a crap ton of people, including Petra.
Yep.
And, like, it was all for Aaron, like, one person, like, all this destruction for one person, who we assume that she wants alive. We don't know why, but, like, I don't think she's a good person. I think, sure, we don't know what her goals are, but they can't be very good if she's willing to kill that many good people.
Well, do you have anything to add on that, Zach?
Well, I was just thinking of my stupid fan headdom where she was gonna turn into like a Mothra and Arrow was gonna turn into Godzilla, and it was gonna be real cool. But yeah, and you're right, and there's still so much we don't know about Annie and like why she was sent and all this kind of stuff, and it's just sort of like one of those things where it's like, well, that's nice, but there are a lot of other problems.
Well, yeah, and like the only sort of sinister stuff that I could even, sort of say is okay is if she was taking down the government itself, but she's not. She's taking down the scouts who are trying to like change things for the better. So why attack the good guys? Like, it doesn't make any sense. And she's incredibly violent. Like,
She is very
the way
violent,
she killed every single one of those people was not only sadistic and violent, but like she didn't care about how much destruction she caused in the meantime. Like,
really.
she just plows through everything. I don't know. I don't like her.
My only other sort of like for funsy takeaway is like, what do you think of her relationship between like her and Armin?
Yeah, it's an interesting thing,
It
actually.
is, like, because, now we see that she did spare him because she recognized him and everything back on the fields, but
Well, she's not the only one that, like, he's not the only one that got spared. It was Reiner, too, who was literally in her hands.
yeah, but he cut himself out. Would she really have spared him?
Yeah,
I don't know, because I thought he was dead.
Or, I mean, I don't know. I feel like that... And you're right. She does spare Armin in particular, but on the same token, she does sort of carve a path of destruction through the scout formation, like indiscriminately.
Yeah,
to get what
when
she
we
wants.
saw them all racing towards the center of the woods, she killed every single scout
true.
that tried to hold her back.
Yeah,
That's not okay. I don't
But
care what you
anyway,
say.
Armin and Annie, though. What do you make?
Armin
of
and Annie. Well, Armin kind of gets under everyone's skin, I think. Like, John has a soft spot for him. He's the one that obviously gets Eren out of his Titan mode for the first time. Like, Mikasa, same
Right.
thing. Even the higher-ups in the military, they're all like, wow, Armin's got good ideas. So I'm pretty sure, like, Armin's just, like, this angel
Yeah.
that everyone
I'm
flocks
thinking
to.
about that moment, too, with Reiner in the training
Yep.
thing, where he's like, Reiner's like, here, let me take your pack.
Yeah.
You're having trouble running.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So everyone loves Armin.
That's
That's the show we came up with last week.
This is gonna be a sitcom that everybody loves Armin.
That's right.
It's gonna be great.
So yeah,
track
like
and
it's
everything.
unique that it's Annie and Armin, but at the same time, like everyone
True.
loves him. So
It's like he's like playing this chess match with her when
He is.
when like he first meets her. Like he puts out a lie and then it's like, okay, are you gonna believe it? And then she's like, okay, like I'll lie right back to you. Are you gonna believe mine?
I know they
You
were outplaying each other the whole time. It was very cool.
right, and like yet neither one could like directly
But-
say that it was a lie.
Exactly. And back when the inspections were going on of the ODM gear, like she was totally honest with Armin. Like she said
True.
that. She was like, I want you to know I'm only in this for myself, no matter what you think.
Yeah.
So she was like, hint, hint, wink, wink. Like,
Yeah.
I'm going to kill you all.
That's very interesting to note that because they had a long-standing history and it's cool how they bring it out like
Yeah,
now. And
exactly.
I love how Armin's not the one that's like in most things you find one clue, it's like boom, let's go, but he actually waited and
Yeah.
didn't let anyone know till later.
Mm-hmm.
But moving on to more, I guess we're going back to like themes of the show. It comes up in this episode like kind of a lot, and pretty much everyone says it. In order for humanity to rise above titans,
Yeah.
they have to become like greater monsters. What do you think of this notion?
We've talked about it a lot, I feel like, in our stuff here. And yet this episode, more than anything, seems to be the realization of that theme because Eren's only able to go into a Titan mode by doing that. And yet it's his humanity that prevents him from
killing Annie.
at the
Exactly. I was just going to point that out. Like, the last time we talked about this, we were talking about how Eren kind of got really, really creepy when he was fighting Annie the first time. And we were like, crap, he's losing himself. Like, this is all going to go downhill really fast. But at the end, when he, exposes Annie and she's crying, like, he's like, shoot, I actually can't do this. And he admits to that later. He's like, I waited and I don't know why, but it was my fault, and yet I couldn't do it. So I don't really think that becoming monsters is the solution. You have to like outsmart the monster, which is why Armin is going to win this whole thing. Like
He sits
Everybody loves Armin.
he sits on the Iron Throne of whatever you call this place. Well, before we get into our weekly wrap-up questions, our final weekly wrap-up questions, I had one other point I wanted to bring up, and Erwin brings this up to the military higher-ups when he's presenting that thing at the end of the episode. He talks about how, Annie's appearance has opened up the possibilities of, what this war actually is. And then he says, like, they ask him, why didn't you collaborate with the other military factions, military police, or the garrison? And he's like, well, I feared that there are other people in there.
and there totally are.
If you had to give some predictions maybe about who other people are inside the wall that are like Annie, do you have any thoughts about who they might be?
Well, we don't know a lot of individuals inside the inner wall. But, like, they've got to be military police. And, I think it's kind of creepy, too, that this notion is brought up and we still haven't met the king. I'm not saying the king is a Titan, but I think he's got a bunch of them at his side. So
Yeah.
that's like the only prediction I can give there because we just don't know anyone
but
else.
Annie didn't start as a military police. She was with the
Exactly.
cadet class.
Yeah,
there.
but like there was no way she was not going to be top 10. Like she was selected kind of going into that. Like this is no big deal.
I don't know. I don't know if anybody paid her any special attention back then.
That was the point. She made herself not known because if she drew attention to herself, then like it might have led anyone onto something, even though at the time they didn't know that this was a possibility. Like she literally played under the table the whole time.
She did play really smart. With that in mind, though, if you had to pick somebody who we know, a named character, could be anybody we've met, who is one of these people. Shot in the dark. Who do you think
Who's
one
the
could be?
spy?
What?
Yeah, no, I'm serious.
There is.
Like shot in the dark. Like pick one. It could be anybody on the scouts. It could be anybody from the garrison, like Pixis or Rico or any of those people. It could be, I don't know. It could be any of the cadets too. I mean, Annie was a cadet, so if you had to give a shot in the dark guess, if there was another one hanging about, who would you guess?
I don't know.
Shot in the dark. Say the first one that comes into your brain. Ready?
That's probably right.
Ready?
3,
2, 1.
one.
Ymir?
I'm curious why you think Ymir.
I mean, she's just so shady.
Is it because you like Krista more than her?
I don't actually think it's
Is it
Ymir.
because she's a lesbian?
This is racist.
Or sexist, or genderist. I don't know.
That one.
Oh my gosh. I really don't know though. Like, because Pixis, he knew way too much. Or maybe that's enough to incriminate him. But like, he knew way too much about like the drama going on within humanity. That it wasn't just the Titans.
And yet, maybe that's not just. Maybe that's more of him being more like an Erevin sort of character.
That's why I don't think it's him, and I don't think it's Erevin because he wouldn't have like
so hard if he was one.
Yeah, exactly, and he wouldn't have held back the information like from
True.
them unless he was trying to protect.
So maybe
people
out
from
of all these people, Erevin is our only confirmed human.
Yeah,
He put himself on the line. It's like, okay, I'm going to kill this many people, and then I'm going to get brought in front of a court. This sounds great for me.
and well, like also, I just can't incriminate any of the scouts right now because of everything they just went through.
True.
Like, there's no way the loss and how hard they fought in that last battle, and we haven't seen much of the garrisons.
No, I'm
Right.
pretty sure that the Colossal Titan is Connie, and the Armored Titan is Sasha.
And it's a battle to see which one eats the other one first.
Exactly.
And Sasha's so happy because Connie's so much bigger than her.
Yes, and she's like, "Ooh, I get to eat that."
It's definitely not Sasha.
If there's one thing we can agree
maybe
on.
she mistook the wall for a giant potato.
Maybe.
Maybe
knows?
that's what it was.
Who knows?
But seriously,
say?
I have no idea. Like, literally no clue. And I feel like we haven't introduced enough characters for that yet.
And it's terrifying because this plot has just been brought up. So
I
get
know,
ready
exactly.
For, yeah. season
It's
2. Stuff's
total
going
Battlestar
down.
Galactica right now.
A little bit. Yeah, I agree.
My God.
Well, before we move
Unless
into
it's Hanji.
Ooh.
She's all like, I love the Titans.
Experimenting.
maybe she's
How
like,
hard has she been experimenting?
Like on herself. Yeah, I don't know. Anyway.
Anyway, yes, before we move into our weekly wrap up too, we just wanted to sort of get your general recollections on the season as a whole. I mean,
Debrief season 1.
I mean, you don't have to recap it all. I'm just saying, like, if you had to pick your like ultimate high points, most memorable moments, things like that. What do you take away from season 1 of Attack on Titan?
Okay. So like ultimate high points would probably be like this is a really weird one. But like when Armin and Eren and Mikasa are all about to be shot at with the cannons.
Oh, okay.
Because they were like,
No.
there's no way that anything is going to separate us. You can shoot all of us right now.
Right.
And like that was as scary as that whole sequence was. Like neither of them backed down. That really solidified that like they're friends. It doesn't matter like what comes between them really.
Yeah.
So that was definitely a good moment. Another one would be like it's so sad in retrospect, but all of the Levi squad like biting into their hand to understand what Eren was going through.
Yeah.
And obviously ultimate low is the loss of the Levi squad.
Yeah.
No more Petra.
No more Petra.
Yep.
And yeah, Pixis in general, like he just is a high point.
I agree.
Yes.
And yeah, I mean, obviously Titan battles, they're really cool.
Oh, they are epic.
So,
they are.
like, and in terms of just total epicness,
Yeah.
not necessarily a high point because there's a lot of death that goes on. And actually, one of my favorite character arcs has been John's character development.
Yeah,
I can agree
I'll
with
agree
that.
with that because when I first watched it, Jean was the character that immediately turned me off the most.
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
Like the bully, and it's like, oh, this guy, great.
I was like, I don't want to pay attention to Jean, but like, and then anytime Jean was on screen and had character time, I was just like, okay, why does this guy like get special attention?
And that's exactly how I felt.
And then you know he evolves so well over the course of the whole season.
Yeah, and that's the thing, because, you know, like, Aaron's still screaming in different ways. You know Armin's smart and Mikasa's still BA, but John went through,
John
like,
actually,
a whole,
changed a lot.
Yeah, I love that moment in the last episode there where he's just like, to think that I ever wanted to be a military police.
Yes.
I know, that's what
That
I was like, yes, man.
That was a fist in the air moment. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So, like, that's definitely, like, a skeleton perspective, because there were
yeah.
so many
There are a lot of
good
good moments.
Oh, man.
But
And, okay, let's bring into this. You have mild other anime experience.
Yes.
How does this compare stylistically? Like, things like music, the way they're drawn, the way they're characterized, the action.
Yeah.
well, it's just, like, so raw. Like, the whole thing. And it's not just, like, the blood and guts that makes it raw. Like, the whole thing is just, it's very artistic. It's very intense the way it's done. There's no fluff. In fact, the only time there was ever anime fluff is when Krista's like, I saved the horses, guys. Like, that's the only Sailor Moon-esque moment in the entire series. But everything else is just really dark, but it's done in a way that, like, even if you don't like anime, you would like this because
True.
you know
It's a good
it
gateway anime.
exactly. I mean, there's still tons of emotion wind, but
Right.
Yeah, and the lines.
Lines on their faces. Yeah.
Yes.
Lines everywhere.
Yep.
many lines.
I feel like if you were like a fan of like The Walking Dead or something
yeah,
like this, you
exactly.
could really get into this.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that would work pretty well for them. Yeah.
It's just, I mean, the themes are there between like the who do you trust and the survival in there too. So yeah, I agree that.
And there's just so much character development. Like, a lot of anime series, they kind of pick a persona and they stick to it the whole time. And, you know, I'm not bashing Sailor Moon, but she's a continuous klutz who's in love with Darien. That's all there is to it. Like, that's it. But, like, each one of the characters has major character development. Like, even somebody with as little stage time as Sasha.
True.
You know?
Yeah.
Like, so it's just really intense. It's really good. Everyone should watch it, unless you're afraid of blood.
Unless you're afraid of blood.
Okay, no, that's true. Go to not these.
Yeah, not this if you're squeamish. Well, let's move on to our final weekly wrap-up question. Zach, why don't you kick us off here?
Okay, so at the end of this first season, what is your lingering question? From this last section, not from the series as a whole.
Wait, from the last section?
Yeah, this last section that we watched.
Yes.
But what if it's the same question?
What is that question?
What the heck is in the freaking cellar? Like, that's been my question like 6 out of the whatever episodes.
I mean, it's
I
been
don't.
brought up again too with like the key
The
hanging
key
on his
is
neck.
at the very end every time.
Yep.
Like, ugh.
Wow. Well, okay.
Okay, no, that's fair. Hey.
Okay, so what's in the cellar?
So who gets to be cadet of the week for this last week of Attack on Titan? Who gets it? Not many choices because the only cadets we have are really Armin, Aaron, Mikasa, and Jean in this episode.
Yeah.
It counts.
Annie.
Counts.
Oh, and Annie. Yeah, that's right.
She's
Yeah.
not getting cadet of the week, guys.
Not this time.
Oh, why not? Annie should totally get it. I mean, right?
She's gonna be a butterfly, remember?
She's gonna hatch out of that chrysalis and be a good person and resurrect all those dead people, including Petra.
That's
Including
how
Petra.
character development works for really sad people.
Yeah, it's gonna be Armin. Like,
Yeah.
obviously.
I feel like Armin's like won all of these.
He hasn't won all of them.
But he's won a great deal.
True,
He's won a
great deal
lot,
of
but
them.
think about how much he does for everyone.
That's true.
Like,
Yeah.
there's a reason everyone loves Armin.
Yeah.
He pulls everyone together. He totally, like, he's the one that figured out it was Annie. Like, no one else. Like, where would Erwin have been without him?
True. That's
Very
true.
So, like,
Yep.
They had no idea.
exactly, the entire mission would have still been a failure if
And you
it weren't
think
for
anyone
Armin.
else could have lured her out of that alleyway?
Exactly, because
Right.
he's so innocent and, like,
Unassuming.
Unassuming, and he wanted to, like, still trust him, but even though she didn't, it was like there was that residual friendship that was there. So,
Right.
My heart.
She
Yeah.
kind of like respected him, even
Yeah,
though
she did.
you know she wasn't quite sure about him.
and he's a genius. So,
He is. Well, let's go on to your top feels and bottom feels, but only from this last
only from
chunk.
this chunk. Okay.
Yeah, top feels, bottom feels. Where we at?
Okay. Top feels would be like basically any time Mikasa just charged Annie.
True. She just went in like beast mode.
She did go into beast mode. She was like, I know you're super BA and I'm super BA, and Eren like doesn't necessarily want to kill you, so that must mean he has a crush on you, so you're gonna die. Like, so that was Mikasa the whole time.
That was our conversation. Oh God, there's someone as BA as me. I have to kill her before Eren likes her.
Exactly. And I mean, she's just awesome. So what's not to like about that?
Yeah.
Boom.
And bad feel / good feel. It's kind of like in between.
Okay.
Is the fact that John is the one that kind of snaps Eren out of it in a way.
Okay.
But it triggers that series of flashbacks. And he sees all of the loss, including, like, it ends with his mom dying. And, like, that was horrible. Nobody wants to watch that again.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, he remembered exactly what he was fighting for.
True.
So, like, it sucked, but at the same time, it's so necessary.
That's an interesting pick.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's true because it's what really pulls him together. He thinks on his tragic past, and it's just like, ooh,
Yeah.
time to go.
And he made a promise right after his mom died that he was going to kill every last one of them. And Annie was one.
And
So.
that's what keeps him going.
Exactly.
Ugh. Okay, so in this last week, at the end of season 1, how screwed
Screwed.
is humanity?
Oh, so they were at a 9. But we now know that there are people who can turn into Titans besides Eren. Like, they know that, so they
is
can go on a witch hunt. And so I'm going to lower them to a 7.
7. Okay.
Okay.
They don't.
Yeah.
You're still very much so acknowledging that they are very much at danger.
They're very much in danger, and think about all of the stuff that just happened
True.
within the inner wall. Like,
A city just
there-
got leveled,
yeah,
basically.
there was another city just leveled, and yes, they were all like super prissy fat people, but like they still died, and that's humans that are lost. So like,
There's only so much genetic diversity before humanity.
exactly.
inbred.
I mean, come on, we only have one Japanese person left.
I know,
Only
right?
one Japanese person.
Yeah, so 7.
Nice. Okay.
Okay.
Well, normally here's where we would wrap things up, but we have one last question for you. Of course, we have a kind of bizarre ending with the Titan
In the wall.
in the wall. I don't even want to touch
walls.
that because you could sit there and theorize about that all day. What I want to
Forever.
know is what are some of your predictions for season 2, how that's going to go, and also who do you think will make it out on the other side of season 2 alive?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
So,
Keep in mind that you're venturing into unknown territory even for us, because first off, it's not even out yet.
Yeah.
And even
Even
though
with
we
manga.
know what the manga has in it, like
and it could be different.
it could be
We have no
different.
idea.
We
I mean,
have
the
no
movie's
idea where
already
it's going to
gonna be
end.
Different.
We're not going to talk about that.
All right. So I think the walls are going to be destroyed.
Really?
All of them.
Okay, wow.
All
That's
of
your
them.
first one.
I mean, that would be like
going hard.
That'd be terrible for all of humanity. Though.
Yeah,
They would
but
be in
no,
11.
I don't mean like all of them, but I mean the separation between the 3 groupings. Like it's figurative walls. They're gonna be gone.
Okay, so like the class
Oh, it's
divide.
in people. Okay.
Yeah, I mean like walls are gonna be destroyed, but also like the class divide is gonna be destroyed because first of all, we just now had Titans in the inner circle, and everyone's like, wait a second. We didn't even realize they were real. Like, they knew, but they
Yeah.
didn't.
Because I've never seen one.
Yeah, and so now they've seen the trauma. And, like, it didn't even come close to what happened in, like, Shiganshina.
Yeah.
So...
Or Trost.
Or Trost, for that matter. So, yeah, there's going to be, I think, a lot more movement, for lack of a better term, amongst the people. And a lot more witch hunting, obviously.
Right.
So there's going to be severe distrust, and that's going to be really interesting because I'm kind of afraid about what's going to happen between the relationships that they've already built up, because it literally could be anyone now. But in terms of who's going to survive,
Ooh, just list them for you.
okay, wait. There's obviously Eren and Mikasa and Armin.
Are they all gonna live?
Yes.
They all make it through it, okay?
All right.
Cannons can't stop them, guys.
Cannot stop.
Levi, who I'm not sure if he's a Titan or not.
Oh, now that
boy.
comes out.
I just didn't want to say it because he's supposed to be Petra's love, okay?
Oh my gosh.
But I don't think Erwin's gonna make it.
Why do you
Okay.
think Erwin's not going to make it?
I think he's gonna find somebody who's super important, and he's gonna be the only one who realizes and then he's gonna die.
He's gonna get killed.
You think he's going to be in too deep,
Yeah.
basically.
Okay.
Yep. Because he's already like been making moves against the government, basically.
Yeah.
And
Kind of, yeah.
Pixis?
there's no way.
Yeah, Pixis was kind of with him, too, doing that.
Yeah, but Pixis was outside of what was going on now. Like,
you're right.
Erwin's kind of the front runner at that, so he's not gonna make it.
Okay. What about the other scouts?
The other
cadets?
scouts. I don't think John's gonna make it.
No, really?
I think that there's gonna be a ton more character development for him, and then he's gonna sacrifice himself for someone else.
Aw.
And yeah, but like think about how big that would be.
That would be a big deal
Yeah.
for him.
And I think Sasha's gonna make it because we would all just pass out without comic relief.
Yeah.
You have to have Potato Girl.
But Connie?
I don't know about Connie. Like, he's so hard to peg.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave him at a question mark.
What about Krista?
I mean, Krista is going to be doubly protected by Reiner and Ymir. So even if the two of them go down, she's not.
Fair. So
Okay.
She's super safe.
Yes.
So,
She's
but
a very yes.
are you assuming that Reiner and Ymir aren't going to make it out of it?
I think Reiner might not.
But Ymir will be okay.
Because remember, I didn't think he was going to make it through
True, you did
the original battle.
and you
That's very
almost
And
had
he
those fears
almost,
realized.
yeah, he almost died.
Yep.
Jeez, you've been wanting him to die for a while now.
I don't want him to die. I just think he will. There's a difference.
Fair.
Yeah. Who else am I missing?
I think Bertolt is the only one from the scouts we haven't
Bertolt.
mentioned.
Yeah, but
From the cadets, I mean.
Yeah.
if Reiner dies, Bertolt's gonna die.
Aw,
They're kind of a
fair.
package deal.
They kind of are a package deal.
Okay.
So.
And I have one last question too about the speculative stuff. Annie's sitting in a crystal chrysalis right now. But what do you think her significance in season 2 is going to be?
Well, I think Annie's dad and Aaron's dad were working together.
Oh,
Interesting.
I think there's like a secret sect down there, and I mean it all converges on the cellar.
yeah.
But yeah, I think they were working together, and obviously they know more about what's going on than most of the general populace.
Yeah. Well, even Annie seemed to know more about what's
yeah,
going on
and-
than Aaron did about his powers.
Well, and the fact that like Annie's dad emphasized that people are going to hate her, that kind of scares me too, because I feel like within those who were working towards the human Titan hybrids, I think there might have been like almost a mini civil war. And
like
that,
like two different schools of thought
yeah,
on how we're supposed to
like
use
Aaron's
this.
dad and Annie's dad probably were working together, but then disagreed on something, and they separated, and now we see the results of that. And because we haven't seen Annie's dad, we haven't seen Aaron's dad,
True.
so
Very
they're
true.
both out there somewhere.
Yep. Possibly.
Yeah.
We'll have to see.
Yep.
Well, I've thoroughly enjoyed watching this whole first season with you.
Yes.
It's been great watching it again personally, just re-experiencing all of that. It's been a lot of fun. If you've been watching along too and have really enjoyed this too, you can follow along with us. We do this sort of thing a lot. Zach and I do it with Game of Thrones. We're discussing future animes we might want to do as well. We're having a lot of fun doing this sort of thing. So you can connect with us on YouTube. Our YouTube channel is Useful NPCs, where you can find the episodes for this series. You can also find our Watching You Watch Game of Thrones there, and you can also find other videos that are like gaming related. We put up a lot of stuff there. So
We do.
we're looking. If you are into that sort of thing, you can check out that there. We also are on Twitter, where you can connect with us that way. At Useful NPCs, and we also have a Tumblr.
Yes.
And you can also connect with us in that way. So connect with us any way that you
Please.
that you
All
want
the fan
to.
art of Annie as Mothra.
Yes, or Petra fan art for Caitlin.
There's so
In
much of
memoriam.
that. Oh my gosh.
So yeah, you can connect with us in these ways. If you are the type of person who you're an anime lover and you've watched through all this before, I would highly recommend doing the same thing and taking a friend and like sitting down and just taking them through it. It's going to be a lot of pain and anguish for them, and you're going to love every minute of it.
Yeah,
But
it
it's
helps
so
you
good.
digest, because I feel like if I just watched this by myself and didn't get a chance to vent, I would just explode.
Would you do this for somebody else, Caitlin? Would you introduce somebody else and do this sort of thing for them too, where you would take them through every episode of this?
Yes, our initiative is working.
So
Fight
go
binge
ahead and
culture.
exactly. We break this up. We don't sit here and we break it up, and don't watch episode after episode after episode after episode.
Yeah. Even
and
though I wanted to.
even though she wanted to.
Yes.
I wanted to throw things at them for saying no.
We had to tie her down.
There's something to be said for enjoying like a television show in the way that most TV still is, which is like on a weekly basis, and you have to wait in suspense to know what's going to happen next. And it's sort of an interesting thing that we're maybe losing a little bit with binge watching. But yeah, you should go out and do this too with your friends if you've been enjoying this.
Ooh. Also, there are some OVAs of Attack on Titan. If you've not found them, you should watch them. Issei no Techo. I probably pronounced it wrong. Cameron's our actual Japanese expert. But watch them. They're really good. They're prequely and like sort of like in between. Like there's a whole Levi prologue arc, and then there's like a fun like we're gonna have a cook-off episode. Things that are very tactful that are not really covered in the manga and are definitely not covered in the anime.
Yeah, I haven't even watched them yet. So if you are out there looking for them, you can look up those and check those out.
As a gift to Caitlin, we'll let her watch those without having us break them down.
Exactly.
Thanks, guys.
Well, Caitlin, do you have any closing thoughts on Attack on Titan before we close out here?
Oh man, it's just so good, and it pains me to think that I have to wait like a year to figure out what happens.
Oh man, I wonder if our contract holds.
But yeah, it's been super amazing, and I'm really glad that I got to, be part of watching you watch.
Yay!
Yeah.
Oh, that was
my
so
heart.
sweet.
Also, I wrote another eulogy to Petra on my Facebook. So
yeah, we'll be sure to share that in our Twitter feed so that you can see that.
I'll try and screen cap that.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in. Until next time.
Oh my god.
We'll catch you then. All right. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.